Hey everyone in Studio Art 1 and Advanced Drawing. Fun Friday! So we are doing an animal unit, and because we are doing an animal unit today, we are going to draw a lion. If you have your sketchbooks and you brought them home, awesome job. And if not, find some sort of paper to draw on. It's okay if it's lined paper. I will not count it against you. We are all kind of like scrounging around for stuff. One couple things I want to go over with you guys before we get started is make sure you have a good eraser. Make sure you have a pencil that works. Don't draw in pen because there are some things that we are going to start with that you will have to erase. So you definitely don't want to be drawing with a pen. I'm going to hold my paper like this and draw. It is super awkward and it is super uncomfortable for me because I have to crunch all up, and you guys know how I like to use the document camera and draw, but that is not an option at my house. It doesn't hook up to my Chromebook and I just am sad. I miss it very much. So bear with me. After I draw something like this on here for you guys, I'll put it right up close so that way you can see it. I will make things work, hopefully. Leave a comment underneath this video on like a different animal that you guys want to draw next week, and I'll pick one and we'll just draw it. Maybe I'll put a couple videos up of me drawing different animals with you guys next week, but just more options you leave, the better chances there are of other things going on. Some other things I want to talk to you guys about. Make sure that if you haven't checked out the Facebook page for our art page for high school art, it's called Brushton Moira Central Art, grades 6 through 12. I've been posting things I plan on doing with you guys there, like messages that you might need, stuff for your parents. So if you guys haven't gotten on there, get on there and like the page. That way you get like some feeds from me and things like that. It could be just something of like, this is what my studio looks like today, or this is Comstock is in, or it's Fun Friday, just stuff to, make you smile in the morning and just easy reminders on things. I think that's it. I'm looking at my little paper that has like all the stuff I'm supposed to tell you, and I think I got through everything. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to draw a circle for our lion. So you need to draw a good size circle. Don't draw teeny tiny. Draw big. Remember, we're doing up close animals. That's what we started our unit with. So we're going to continue to do up close animals. This circle is going to end up being erased at the end. So make sure you're drawing lighter than what I'm drawing because I'm drawing big and a little bit darker so you guys can see it. So we have a circle. In our circle, we're going to, oh Lord, let's do this. Okay, we're going to cut our circle in half this way, and we're going to cut our circle in half this way. Okay, so we have like a plus sign inside our circle. It's going to help us put things where they need to go, like our eyes, our nose, our mouth. We're going to draw a line about the halfway point up here, straight up over this way. So it looks like this. That's going to help us put our eyes in. And we're going to draw vertical lines, cutting this part in half right here and this part in half right here. So it looks like this so far. We're making like a waffle right now. And one last little guideline that we need is we're going to connect this line and this line. So it's going to come straight across like so. So we have this. This is going to help us guide in everything we need for our lion. All right, now let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some eyeballs in here. So I'm drawing in a circle that's going to be about this big on this side, and try to make them about the same size, and this big on this side. If everything looks off, it's because I'm looking at everything from a weird angle. So just bear with me. So we're going to have eyes, circle eyes. Now lions have those little tear duct pieces, like the points that come down like right over here. So we're going to add that to both of these. So in order to do that, we're going to have them come downward. They're going to be like this. So little triangle-y pieces that kind of match up right here. And then the back of the eye has the same thing. And it touches that line. It's kind of like our guide. This one's not straight, but it is now. All right, so we're going to have two eyes like so. And we're going to go back in and touch them up, so no worries. Okay? And if you have to, check and make sure they're even. Line your pencil up with them. So from these lines, we're going to have an angle right here that comes down. And we're going to have an angle right here because this is going to make like the bridge of our nose that we have going on. Okay? This is kind of sucks. I gotta fix this. Hold on. It's gonna be all awkward if I don't fix it now. All right. This one's gotta come down a little bit more at this angle. Try to make them a little bit. That is better. So we have this. So we're gonna make the bridge of our nose right here. So this little line is gonna keep coming down. It's gonna meet that middle line. So both of these are gonna come down. They're gonna meet the middle line. So this is what we got so far. And then, because lions' nose, they widen out towards the bottom where their nose actually is, and then it connects to their little cheekies that they have around their mouth or their lips. This part is going to curve outward like this. So we have some little curved outward areas. So here comes all the fun stuff. We're going to put in the nose and the mouth and the chin, and then we're going to get the shape. So there's a lot of work. The very bottom where this line touches the middle line is the bottom of the nose. So you're going to draw a triangle that comes out like this from this area. So I'm going to bring it out just a little bit more. And then, so the top of your triangle is the top of your lion's nose. I'm going to erase this little piece right here because it got too angled and then he wasn't even. And I want him to look fairly even. I don't think mine's going to look very even because I'm drawing him from a weird angle, but this is the basic shape of his nose. So he's going to have these little curved pieces. That connect him to the top of his bridge of his nose. And then he's going to have this little piece that comes down right here. Okay? And in order to connect all of this, we have to make his little poofy cheeky things. So we have this line right here and this line right here. These are going to be our guides to making his little cheeky stuff. Okay, so if we come down this way and we make his little poofy cheeky things, they're going to come out further than his little guideline. So this little guideline is to show us that we want it after this. Because if we make his little cheekies starting right in here, he's going to look like he's squished all the way down in the front. So we want him to have a little bit of shape. So he's going to have this big curvy cheeky piece. It's going to come all the way up like this at an angle. Because all of this part of his face and all of this part of his face all match up. So if I were to like continue this line, it would match up to this one. So if I were to continue this line, it would match up to this one. So that's how I know where to start my next one. Okay? So same thing on this side. We're curving down. We're bringing this at an angle, and it's going to come around. Oh, Lord. Hold on, guys. just going to fix this little edge. It's hard to draw just like this. It makes it very difficult. And I want them to be sort of even. So if you got to even up your stuff too, I completely understand. All right. That was a hard angle to do right there. So here's our little face so far. I'll give you a second to catch up a little bit. Feel free to pause the video if you need to. Now, after this part, I'm just darkening this in so you guys can see it a little bit better. So after this part, we're going to put in his little chin with his mouth. And his little chin and his mouth are going to come down. He's going to have this little chin right here. And his little mouth opens up like this. So this area right in here is going to be dark because remember how we did our panther and we had the gum line and we showed how his gums were really dark. Same idea with your lion. Okay, so we're going to have this area right in here where he's really dark, and I'm just going to fill this in because we don't need to do anything inside this. I'm not going to make you do teeth and a tongue or anything like that. His mouth isn't open that far. He's just kind of breathing with his mouth open. So we got this much so far. So our next thing to do is to go back in and create like the shape where his hair starts. Remember when we did people and we talked about the hairline? And so we're going to create a hairline for him. And then we're going to create, remember how we wanted everybody to have a brain? We're going to create like the fluff around him. So this line right here comes in really handy because this is our middle line and this is where we're starting. He's going to have this shape. You know how like lions have their hair in the front, it kind of starts and it goes out. So everything inside this area is part of his face. So don't get mixed up. This isn't the top of his mane. This is just where it starts. The top of his mane is going to be way up here. So I just want to give you that indication that that is what we're going to do. So we're going to start with these two little spots and we're going to create this little shape that goes around his face. And then we're going to use this line and this line as his guides on where to poof him out. So this piece right here is going to come down and it's going to go outward on both sides. So if you do both sides at the same time, it'll make it a lot more even than if you're doing one at a time. Oh my goodness. I missed my document camera, guys. It's very important to me. Remember this. All right, so he's going to have this. So he kind of looks like he's got like long flowy hair right now. And as I look at this on the camera, I'm noticing things to fix over here. So don't mind me. So he's going to have this little bit going on. Kind of looks like a water buffalo right now because he's got his like weird little horns draping down. So this little piece right here is going to come out, right? So we have him poofing out. And then this little line is coming down. Same thing on this side. It's poofing out and then it's coming down. So it's connecting down towards his little cheekies for his face. And then erase this little extra guideline that we used. So we got this part we don't need out there. So we've got this stuff going on right now. Okay? Here's what we got. Then, because we have to make the top of his head before we start adding any sort of details, he has this beautiful shape. It's going to come out like this. on both sides. And it's going to go around him. And it's going to be almost like an upside down teardrop. It's going to come around like this. And it's going to be just like that. So he's got his mane. I know it's confusing right now, but it'll be okay. So before we go back in and add any details, we're going to erase that circle that we started with those extra lines. So take a few seconds and erase all these extra guidelines. Oh my word. If you have any lines you want to touch up right now, is a good time to do it. We're going to erase some guidelines because we don't need them. So the cleaner you make his face look, the easier it's going to be to focus on your lion and not your extra little guidelines that you got going on. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we got this right now. All our little guidelines are erased. We're going to go back in and add details to the nose first, and then we're going to add details to his little cheekies and put his whiskers on, and we're going to go back in and add fur and touch up his eyes. So the first thing I'm going to do is add his little nose details onto him. So I like to add his little line right here just to show that his nose has that little crease in it. And then I'm going to add little nostrils to him. So on this side, this little nostril comes in. And on this side, he's got a little nostril right here. And you guys can fill them right in. He's got that little crease right there. And then while we're over here doing noses and stuff, we're going to add some little lines of whisker lines. Because he's got all those little details that go into him to make him look so awesome. We're going to add these little whisker lines in him. Okay. And then these little pieces right here, we're going to go back in and add whiskers on him afterwards, but just wanted to get you started on that. And then we're going to add these little details right here for the eyes. This little area gets filled in. We're going to outline around his eyes nice and dark. And then this little area behind his eye gets filled in. So we have this nice dark lion going on. I'm going to add a little shine to his eye and another little shine to his eye. And I'm going to fill his eye in a little bit lighter than what I did around the outside of him. So that way I can still see his eyes are showing up nice. So we have a nice little detail going on in this eye. So let me get it up nice and close for you. There's his eye. So I'm going to do another one. Same way. I'm going to fill this part in. And I'm going to fill in this little piece in the front, his little tear duct pieces. I'm going to outline around the outside of his eye just to clean it up. I'm going to add a shine in the same exact spot on the other eye. That way he doesn't look like he's looking in two different directions. Super important, guys. You don't want him to look in two different directions. He'd look like chameleons do that, and lizards, and he's not one of those. So we want his eyes to be able to go the right way, looking in the same direction so he can see what he's looking for. So now here are his eyes. And when we do eyes and stuff for lions, we always put in some little bits of like hair that's coming up right in this area. It's almost like eyelashes for him, but it just kind of makes him look a little bit more menacing because he's, you know, terrifying. He's looking for something to eat. Put in some little hairs and fur textures around his eyes. So we can even do like the hair that's coming out around the edge of his eyes. Let's see if I can get in really close for you guys. And I'm going to follow the bridge just like when we did people. So the edges of your nose, and we talked about shading, and it comes in this way. Same thing with animals. You want to show the direction that the fur is going in. So with that being said, then you can add longer short lines to it. It is completely up to you, but I like to add some texture in here because I like to know the direction and shape and value of all of this stuff that we've already talked about and learned with our, with drawing. So this stuff should be pretty basic. It's almost like making hair, but just on an animal. So it's fur, it's short dashy lines. So we're doing this part. It should be going in the direction of your lion. So like his fur should be coming out, just like so. All right. Same thing for up in this area. He's got, let's see, here we go. He's got fur that comes down on the bridge of his nose that goes up because that's the direction the fur goes on the top of his head. It's all coming up. So we have all of this detail happening, which is kind of cool. You want to create an animal that has like texture and, realism instead of these little cartoon characters. Because right now we're in our animal unit and we're drawing up close and we're drawing real. So just want to keep you guys going with this. Let's see. He's got some little hair that comes out in this direction. It's coming over in this way. It's coming over like this. Got to curve my pencil in another direction so this works. Okay, so it's coming out this way. So we've got some fur on the top of his head. I'm going to start doing some more fur on this side of him. Same thing as I did on the other side. We want his fur to go in the right direction. We don't want him to look all crazy. Short, close lines together are darker. Long lines spaced apart are like shorter area, like you're going to have a lighter area. So keep that in mind when you're trying to create your volume and your texture. Remember all of our still life drawings that we've done where we've drawn back and forth and we've created like all this different texture. We've created value scales before. This is all just review for you guys. You're just basically just picking up where you left off and drawing some more. So this is like texture on his face. We haven't touched his nose or anything yet because we're going to do that a lot later. We're going to make shorter lines because it is his short hair that is up close. So we're going to do lighter, so lines that are shorter and farther apart, all right over here. Try not to make your lines all line up together. If you do that, you're going to look like you have like just evenly spaced rows like a garden, and we don't want that. We want his hair to be a little bit all over the place. So if you feel like some of it needs to go back, you need to go back in and like rough it up a little bit and crisscross your lines because, lions don't brush their faces or anything. Go back in and add some different textures and stuff. You can curve his little hair out a little bit so that way it looks like it's going down right over in here. And all the rest of it's going to come up. And you're going to have a lot of little short lines right in here. Lots and lots and lots and lots of little short lines right in here. And we have all of this detail going in. And his little cheekies, I'm just going to put a couple little lines going through because his hair is not very long right over there. And I'm just going to put it right in like this, like a little bit of a shadow. So I just did a little bit of a shadow right on his little cheeky area where we were going to put the whiskers in. I put little short dashy lines and a little spaced them out together. Notice how my fur is changing directions to follow the shape of the lion's face. I'm going to do that again on this side. Remember, we're just indicating that he has fur right here. We're not going all crazy with it. And then his little chin has lots of fur on it. It goes doo 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 doo, just like that. So it's a little bit longer. And you can have some little short hairs right up in the bottom piece. So we've got this stuff going on. Now for the fun part. Oops, sorry. All of this hair up here, we need to add some hairlines. So we need to do long, dark. Okay, so if you can draw a little slight line right here, because that's his part in his mane. And then everything right around him in this spot. Remember when we were doing hair with people? If you got like a part in the hair, it's going to curve over. It's going to curve over. So we're creating some more texture in his mane. So the cool thing about your lion, his mane comes down. Make sure you go over that line that we drew. His mane comes down. It's furry. It's sticking out everywhere. Make sure you go back in that's close to his face and you're adding all those hairlines that show that it's going into the mane. We're doing all this work right here to create all these textures. And I just want to make sure that you're taking your time and you're making it look cool. You can go back in and add all these little textury pieces for hair. Make him look like he's coming down. His little fur textures can go right in here. Make sure they're darker than his face, all his little mane textures that you put in there for him. We want him to stand out. Crisscross those pieces. Remember, he doesn't brush his mane. We want these pieces to stand out. So we've got this half of his mane so far. And we're going to do the other half, and then you are set. I'm not going to draw any ears on this guy because his mane is so fluffy, we're not going to see him. But if you want to hide some ears in there with him, you would probably have them like right in this area, poking out. Well, I said I wasn't going to draw ears, and here I am drawing ears. Yeah, so if you want to put some ears in, which is completely up to you, just make sure you put in some little short furry hair. So that way we know those are his ears and not part of his mane. There, so I threw his ears in for you guys. And make sure that your mane that goes over them is really going over them. Really darken it up. And make sure all your little hairs that are going around your head are nice and dark too. We want to see the difference between the face and the mane. And follow the shape of that head. This little fur went the wrong way right there, so I just had to fix it. All right. Let me get the rest of his mane and I'll show it to you. This is tricky stuff over here. Oh, I love how all of his hair connects right underneath his chin, and it gets all this nice little, like, you know, like it's kind of messy because that's where everything's connecting to each other, and I just really enjoy the way that looks. It's looking really nice. I hope you guys have really awesome drawings of your own lion as well. And here is our finished lion. Let me see, right there. Take your time. You can even shade in his little nose if you want to. I think I might go back and do that afterwards. But take your time, make him look adorable, make him look scary, whichever. You can add in some darker shadows if you feel like this didn't stand out far enough, because me personally, I like to see the contrast in things, as you guys know. So I would go back in and add like a shadow right in here and right in here underneath his eyes. Definitely to like really pop out his face. I don't want him to look like he's completely flat. I want him to look like he's, he's got that three-dimensional quality that we've been working on all year. And he's got like maybe some scary eyebrow thing going on here, because he is a lion, and lions eat pretty much everything out there in the savannah. So we don't want our lion to look too friendly. So here you go. Here's some more shadow on him for you. All right, be sure to post your idea for an animal drawing for next week, and then make sure that you post your comments on whether or not, I don't know. Just post some comments, guys. I miss you. I just was looking at this little lion at the same time, and I forgot that we didn't even put our little whiskers in, so let's do that. Jeez. Here I am thinking it was like missing something, and there it is. There's his whiskers. Now he's awesome. All right. Miss you guys. Have an awesome weekend. Definitely keep working on those little ACE graphic organizers if you weren't able to get them done this week. Get them done for next week. Start your ACE essay. Get that done. We'll just get these things out of the way so we don't have to worry about them. And hopefully I will see you guys soon, because I really miss you. And it is really hard to work from home without all the stuff that I use with you guys and a little person over top of me. All right? Okay. See you later.